The Star of the Seas is next level amazing, but trust me, there are a few things you'll want to know first.
Absolutely. What's awesome, things to watch out for, and a few tips to make your trip even better.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason.
And I'm Crystal, and we just got back from sailing on Royal Caribbean's brand new Star of the Seas.
And let me tell you, this ship was extraordinary. It's the second and newest ship of the Icon class. It comes in at nearly 250,000 gross tons, almost 1,200 feet long, which is over 3 football fields. It has 20 decks and has a total capacity of nearly 10,000 passengers, which includes guests and crew. Mind-blowing.
Wow. In this video, we're going to break down our entire experience. The stateroom, the neighborhoods like Central Park, Surfside, Thrill Island, Chill Island, the promenade and its massive pearl structure, plus dining, entertainment, and even our ports of call.
We're going to give our pros and cons for every area. 0 being horrible, which, spoiler alert, there are no zeros on this ship, and 10 is outstanding.
Let's jump in.
So first we're going to start with the stateroom. We chose the spacious Ocean View Infinite balcony, and what we liked most about it was the fact that it gave you more space within the cabin, but also able to look over the balcony into the water. And so when you just can open the window up to look over, or peer over when you want to, or just look out the window with it up, it's really a nice thing to see. One of my favorite things of this cabin was that they had USB ports everywhere, whether it was on top of the desk, whether it was around the TV, by our bedside. It had it in all the places that we would normally plug our stuff into. So it just seemed like they had plenty of that. We didn't have to buy any kind of extensions or anything like that. So to be able to have those things within the cabin was a really nice upgrade. The shower had ample space. Walking into the shower, you had a bench. I mean, just something you normally wouldn't see in the older ships. They're usually smaller. They kind of seem like they're little capsules, but it seemed like a normal, regular sized shower. The door had a unique style of opening, which allowed it to feel less confined, like other showers. Additionally, there was plenty of storage space, and we were just shocked to see that. Older bathrooms don't have this level of storage. They had an outlet there. I mean, usually you have like the razor outlets. So having those outlets in there for your toothbrush and etc., it was a nice thing to see. Additionally, the TV was large. Now, the Oasis class ship did have a large TV. The way they implemented the TV in front of the bed was terrific. The LED lighting around the cabin really made it look modern. It made it look just bright, vibrant. You can dim it if you want. They had different settings, different ways you can control the lighting, which made it really nice.
There were some cons with the spacious Ocean View Infinite balcony. There were some storage issues. There was only 2 big drawers that we can use for space, and then they had these wired baskets that you could see what was in them. So we had to keep some of our clothes in our packing cubes, so you didn't see what was in them.
You didn't want to see your undies and bras and stuff and undergarments.
You're not recording
in
that
the
right
white.
now,
Yes, I am. I sure enough am. But anyway, as you were saying.
The pillows were extremely hard. My husband had to take the pillow off the sofa because the pillows on the bed were just too hard for him. The bathroom itself was small compared to the large size stateroom. When we opened the window, the humidity would cause the mirrors to fog up. So we did not lower it as frequent as we would like. It was still very nice though when we did do it.
Let's just say the Caribbean wasn't very nice to our mirrors when you go to open up that slide down window.
Yeah, it was better in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
But overall, what would you give that?
And while there are some cons, I find that just given the fact that there are so many upgrades to the stateroom, that I would give this a 9 out of 10. I think it was a really nice stateroom to walk into. We both really enjoy the Infinite balcony. If you have not tried that, we do highly recommend giving it a shot because not many people are aware of it, and it's kind of a newer concept with these newer ships.
I agree.
Good.
Next, we're going to talk about the gym. The pros about the gym is very spacious. It took the entire back end of the ship. Plenty of machines, newer machines that we would actually use. Plenty of benches. There was like 6 when there's usually like 2. There were plenty of ellipticals and treadmills for people to use. A lot of towel stations. There were a lot of areas for you to stretch and do your ab workout. It was a very nice gym.
But as a gym connoisseur of sorts on a cruise ship, I love going to the gym. I try to go there as much as I can when I'm on the ship. She hates it, but I do like going there. It's a good way to kind of get your day started. They're very limited on the duplicate machines. While they have a lot of benches, which is great, you're also talking about thousands of passengers. So even if a fraction of them go to this gym, it gets crowded quickly. So the later you are in the day, in the morning, the more crowded it's going to be. So I would recommend switching up a workout plan, which is what I did, just kind of move things around, like do different things. Overall, I would give the gym a 9 out of 10. I think that the equipment was modern. I never had a problem per se doing what I needed to do. It wasn't overly crowded, so I give this a 9 out of 10. And now we're going to be entering our first neighborhood, Thrill Island. Now, Thrill Island is Royal Caribbean's extreme adrenaline zone. It has water slides, a Crown's Edge, sports courts, other activities. I personally thought that the Crown's Edge looked incredible. It's one of those things where you go around, you're tethered, and it drops out over the water as you kind of cascade down around like a loop, almost like a hanging roller coaster. From what we saw from our vantage point, it looked pretty incredible. We did have the opportunity to go on the water slides. Now, trick is when you have a port like Coco Key, ports like that, where you feel like, you want to stay on the ship and hang out, highly recommend, especially for a ship this big, take the opportunity to go on these water slides. We did, the line was not that bad. The only water slide we did not go on was the drop slide because the Icon of the Seas had an issue where the bottom, it bottomed out and it broke and a guest almost fell through it. So they closed it down for ours as a safety precaution, and so they don't get sued for trillions of dollars. One of the things I always look for is the basketball courts on these ships, and this basketball court was gigantic. It had a lot of open space and not a lot of wind. It was surrounded by windows, which really helped kind of keep the wind at bay. So it was nice to play and not to worry about the ball flying everywhere.
There were some cons with Thrill Island, and it all had to do with the basketball court. There was no shade for me to sit to watch him. The midday was very, very hot, and it seems like that was the time when they had open play or the 3-on-3. It was always in the peak hottest time of the day. But the rest of Thrill Island, no cons.
Overall, what would you give this rating of Thrill Island?
I would give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10? Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think there's just so many things to do, not just for us, but for kids alike, to go in there, and the slides were a lot of fun. Never crowded to where you weren't having a good time getting up and down the slides.
Our next neighborhood is Chill Island. It had a lot of pools, a lot of shaded areas to lounge around, plenty of hot tubs, so many bars that were never busy. It had this really cool adults-only swim and tonic bar, a pool that you could just swim up to the bar and sit there and have a drink. No kids splashing at you. It was a great area.
But that swim bar has some problems. That water had to have been negative 30 degrees, and nothing is worse than having to kind of inch your way to the bar to sit on those little stools in the water when it's that freaking cold. So to me, that's a huge con.
5 tons of ice, 8-degree water. Would you be brave enough to take a dip?
Hard pass on the cold water. Thumbs up to the drinks. Hard pass on the water. The cool thing is there's a hot tub right next to that freezing cold Arctic water that is wonderful. So whenever
was that busy when we got in.
Nope. So when you're freezing cold, you just jump into that hot tub, and you're good to go.
What would you give this?
This one's a tough one for me because while I do think that the hot tubs were plenty, it was relatively empty for the most part when we were there. It did get busy as time went on the cruise.
Sea days, it did get busy, but there was plenty of seating, even on a sea day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're kind of convincing me to up it a little bit. I just said the cold water just really, I mean, I don't know why it was so cold. I just find that you can't really enjoy a swim up bar when it's that cold. So I would honestly give it a 7 out of 10, in my opinion. Yeah, Swim at Tonic for adults, I just did not enjoy it. So yeah, overall, 7 out of 10.
I would give it a 9 out of 10. I can handle cold water.
So we'll go in the middle and we'll exit and we'll do it 8 out of 10. The next neighborhood is Cloud 17. I kind of refer it to as the boring neighborhood, not much going on. But one of the biggest perks of that area is the Infinity Edge pool. We didn't actually personally go into it. It did get crowded. It's not very big. So if you don't make it at the right time, you're just not going to really experience that infinity, feel to it. You did have great views of the ocean. The bars, again, just like Chill Island, they were empty for the most part. You can go walk right up and get any drink you want to. It was really nice atmosphere. It seemed more chill to me than even Chill Island on Cloud 17. It just seemed empty, but
it was a lot of sun. So if you wanted to get some sun, Cloud 17 was where you went. With Cloud 17, it was the designated smoking area. So when you got close to that area, you could really smell the smoke from the cigarettes and the cigars. We really didn't go on Cloud 17 that area because of the smoke.
But as opposed to other cruise ships where you have a designated side, that's the smoking side, having just a section on a specific deck that has smoking is actually a nice change for once.
You didn't smell it until you approached it.
Unless you're a smoker, then hey, all power to you. Go get on that neighborhood and smoke up. Smoke up? Yeah, just smoke up. Yeah.
Overall, Cloud 17, we would probably give it 8 out of 10.
We didn't really get on that deck a lot, so I think 8 is fair just because it is a nice neighborhood to go into and just to relax. So I agree with 8 out of 10. And while other ships like the Oasis class had the solarium and not just Oasis class, but all the previous classes had a solarium type of adults only location, the Star of the Seas had Hideaway. And what was interesting about the Hideaway as opposed to the solarium is that it was all outdoors. There was no cover over the solarium, so you were able to take in the sun to walk around. The Hideaway also had the infinity pool. However, we didn't spend a lot of time at Hideaway Bay because of a particular con.
There was no shade. It was all sun. The infinity pool, every time we did walk by, it was slammed, packed with people.
The solarium, I always felt, it was a place for peace. It was a place that you can just kind of maybe take a siesta and just kind of drift away. There, it just seemed like it was just very open. It was hot. Yeah, so really Hideaway, to me, I'm giving this like a 6. I don't want to go there because I just didn't want the sun. I mean, we spend the whole time in the sun on a ship. So I wanted a place where I can kind of relax and not be in the sun.
Yeah, I prefer the shade. So I was more into Chill Island, just a little walk away from the ice cream.
Yep. One of the newer places we've experienced, it's very similar to the boardwalk, but it's the Surfside. It's a family-oriented location. It has your typical thing you would see on the Oasis class ships. You have the merry-go-round, you have the little ice cream stations, you have a little bit like a little water park kind of thing, a little kids water
splash pad. Yeah,
splash pad play area. The food was surprisingly good at the Surfside Eatery. Not only did they have salmon, but they had a full ice cream bar where you can have soft serve plus all the sprinkles and toppings and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like a hidden gem. Initially, we wanted to avoid it because it had all the kids, and I don't want to.
We didn't bring ours.
We didn't bring our kids, so we wanted to avoid it, knowing what the boardwalk was like. The Surfside burgers were great. You also had the adult lemonade, which is something that was recommended prior to cruising. How would you think of the lemonade?
It was good. It was a very good drink.
It was an adult lemonade, and it was yum yum. So it actually was really nice. However,
With the Surfside, it was very loud. A lot of kids screaming, a lot of talking. It was definitely where you'd want to eat inside the Surfside eatery. We did not want to eat outside because you couldn't even hear us speak. That's like the only con.
yeah, so I mean, well, given that, what kind of rating would you give this?
I would give it a 9 out of 10.
I mean, it'd be a really great place to let the kid like let loose and get all their energy out and run around and you can relax and grab something to eat. Like I said, they had salmon in this place.
Yeah, if we brought our kid, we probably would have made it a 10.
Yep.
Because you really wouldn't have had to leave the area at all. You would have had plenty of food options.
Yep. So for a family,
And drinks.
So Surfside, 9 out of 10 from us. It was really nice.
Yeah. And our favorite neighborhood on all ships, the Icon and the Oasis class, is Central Park. It is by far our favorite neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean the plants, the atmosphere, the music, they pump in the simulated birds. Just it gives you that New York vibe in Central Park. You have the really awesome restaurants. One of our favorite places to go in there is Park Cafe.
We really like the bagels. He likes to get all the toppings. There's only a few things that we can't get there that we end up actually going to the Windjammer before we stop at Park Cafe, but it's not busy, it's not crowded. We never have issues there.
And then if you happen to get there at night, the visuals at night are absolutely stunning. Sometimes you have a harpist or you have a musician that plays in Central Park, and if you catch those times, I mean, it's like the perfect zen.
Very romantic.
Just stroll up and down Central Park, no matter what time of the day. It's just absolutely, it's a must see, must go, and must do in Central Park.
Yeah, it's just an experience you don't get on other companies.
Yes, right. And on Star of the Seas, they had Izumi. They also had Lou's. It's like a wine bar, really nice place to go. Again, just very classy neighborhood to go into. So I just go ahead and say it, like bar none, 10 out of 10, must see, must go, must experience. Just absolutely love to kick back in Central Park. Now, while Hideaway Bay was an adults only or expected to be an adults only kind of solarium type of vibe, there was an area on the ship that had that solarium vibe. It wasn't adults only, but it was a place that you can just chill and still have the views. And that is the Aquadome, which is right behind the Aqua Theater, which we'll get to later in our entertainment section. The Aquadome was really cool. They had these the lounges, the chairs were really nice. They overlooked the water. And they also had these pods that there were only a couple of them. So it was kind of like first come, first serve type of thing. But we were fortunate enough to not only get on the pod, but also eat ice cream while we're on that pod, which ice cream is like the thing on that ship that if you don't experience, then you haven't lived or you haven't cruised the right way. So the Aquadome was just really nice. It was always quiet, but you will ever so often catch rehearsals. They do rehearsals at the Aqua Theater right on the other side of the Aquadome, so you can catch like the music and they're dancing. So it was kind of cool to kind of get the behind the scenes, but also, again, get that chill vibe with the Aquadome.
There's no cons for the Aquadome.
No?
None. We were able to get seating every time we went, in the pod or even on a lounger or even a chair. Yeah,
I find people just overlooked it. And they just felt like they just, they went to other places. Maybe they wanted to be in the sun and turn into a lobster, but I didn't want to be. The Aquadome was awesome. I would say 9.5 out of 10, just because the seating was a little limited. We didn't have that problem, but it could be a problem. So correct. I would say 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it was a very nice area.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about the heartbeat of the ship, the Promenade and the Pearl.
Oh, I see what you did there. The heart being the Pearl and the Promenade being the heartbeat.
Exactly.
Never mind. Go on ahead and talk about those things.
The Promenade was packed with shops and bars and entertainment. They had a lot of events going on in the Promenade. There was music and a lot of energy right there in the heartbeat of the, the
See?
ship.
See, it works. See, I knew it. See, genius.
It had the Pearl Cafe, which we really liked to be able to just take a few snacks when we wanted to go watch the football game on Sunday. Plenty of flows from different decks. You had a way to get to the Central Park, to the casino, to Surfside. It was very, very easy to get to the other areas.
So kind of how it pumps blood into the parts of your body. See? Look at it. It's all coming together. All coming together. You're right. I mean, one of the coolest things about it was that the promenade turned into, parties. You'd have the silent disco party. You'd have the balloon drops, which
Birthday bash.
when we went, we had the birthday bash. So we had the dancers on the platforms dancing and just really lively. You had the space for it. On the older ships, you don't see that the width of the promenade is unbelievable. I mean, Oasis was great. The Icon class it's mind-blowing. You really do feel like you're in a floating city. And so
It was so wide.
yes,
It did not feel like you were on a ship at all.
nope. But with some great things, there are some cons. Now, they had dueling pianos there, which is fantastic. I mean, if you can catch it early and get there early and to see it, I mean, the talent of both of them on the piano was amazing.
Their banter was very nice.
Yes. It also hosted musical trivia and stuff like that there, which we won. Anyway, but with dueling pianos, a lot of the issue is that it's very small. It's more narrow than it is big, and so because it's narrow, you can't fit a lot of people. So when you have those specific times that dueling pianos start, it gets crowded quickly. So our recommendation is to get there early or you're going to miss it. The other con is actually in where the Pearl is at. One of the coolest things that you're going to want to do is get a photo of the Pearl, you in front of the Pearl, a selfie in front of the Pearl, people in front of the Pearl. It doesn't matter. You want to take pictures of that Pearl of every angle you want to. But they also have the professional photos. So when you have the formal nights, you have professionals that are oriented around the Pearl. Unfortunately, because everybody congregates around the Pearl, the pictures include people in the background. They had informed us that they can remove what they can, but we did have some photos that had people in the background. So
yeah, on the ground they didn't have any people in the background, but when you were in the Pearl, the one we really wanted, that one actually had people going walking up and down it, and they didn't remove them.
But that is one of my cons, is I feel like that's something that they should have considered when they're doing these photos. So just as a heads up, that if you're more likely when to get photos, especially professional photos, so just keep that in mind. But you also forgot some of the things in the promenade. Giovanni's Italian restaurants. You had the Boleros, which is on seems like every ship now has a Boleros on it. Another con I just thought of actually right now is the shops. The shops were overly priced. Usually you go to these shops certain times of the day, certain days of the week, where they discount their stuff, their shirts, their products. They do these discounts, and they just didn't seem to do that much. They did it one time, it seemed like, when we were there, and it was gone before we even got there.
Even then, the price, it was $20 for a shirt for a deal, and you still had to get 2 shirts to get the $20 deal. And other ships, I remember getting them for $10 for one, and you didn't have to buy more than one.
So just things to consider, when you're on the ship, is that a lot of these prices have gone up. I don't know if it's a ship thing or if it's an overall Royal Caribbean or cruise ship experience in general, but yeah, the prices do seem to be going up quite substantially. Now, but overall, it's a no-brainer to me. The Pearl, the promenade, the things to do while you're walking around it, the Sorrento's Pizza, another thing we didn't even mention. It's just amazing to see how they architected the promenade and the Pearl. I give this a 10 out of 10. Hands down, the heartbeat of the ship, and it lives up to its very name. It's the reason why it exists the way it does. It's amazing. So 10 out of 10.
I agree. It is the best promenade that we've been on Royal Caribbean ship.
Now, we talked about all the neighborhoods, but now let's get into the entertainment. Royal Caribbean is fantastic with their entertainment. They always seem to go to a 10, on how they're entertaining us and with all their shows and musicals. But it seemed like with the Star of the Seas, they just cranked up to 11 and then just took that knob and just ripped it off and threw it away. Because everything we experienced was everything we were familiar with, but like went the extra mile. And for example, the ice show, because that was the first and foremost, like our absolute favorite thing to experience.
Yes, the ice show is my favorite than any other ship. On this ship, there's perfection. The skaters, they clearly have pulled the best of the best from all the other ships. There's no mistakes. They had new tricks. They must have pulled rollerbladers and trained them to do ice skating, and they were doing ramps and flips, and it was amazing.
The ice skaters are always fantastic when we watch them, but when they pulled out these ramps and they had these, what seemed like, I think, professional rollerbladers, like you were saying, strap on these ice skates and do these flips, front flips, back flips, off these ramps onto ice, by the way. They were landing on ice.
On ice, yeah.
Is just, it was mind-blowing.
It really was.
It was just...
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It was just crazy. So that was the ice skating. To me, that's a straight 10 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll just go and rate these entertainment things one by one. The other thing we experienced was the musical. Another, to me, something that I was unsure of because it was Back to the Future and I'd never seen that musical before.
No.
And so I didn't know what to expect, but wow. You talk about mind-blowing. The technology they put into that musical was fantastic. The set design, the way they move the DeLorean and the graphics around it, the 3D effects, the acting, they did have technical difficulties, but we were the third or fourth sailing after their inaugural sailing or something like that. And so it's expected that they're going to go through some of their growing pains to get everything working, functioning correctly, but they went for it. And to me, that's like, I have mad respect for Royal Caribbean to take it, again, to 11 and just really just showing us what they're capable of. Back to the Future, 10 out of 10.
It was a great show.
It was just fantastic.
Great music.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not something I would picture as a musical, but it was great.
But again, make sure that you reserve your time. For any of these major shows, you must reserve your time. There's a lot of people, so just make sure you stay ahead of that and put your name in the hat to make sure you are able to attend those times. Yeah, and a lot of their staples, such as Quest, the Love and Marriage game, were just same as usual. I mean, if you haven't experienced a Quest show, it's like a treasure hunt. But what's cool about Quest is that the audience gets involved and
you're on teams.
And it's just
very
it's adult oriented, so you can't bring your kids. But if you want to have a night out and just have a heck of a time during Quest, I absolutely 100% recommend.
Yeah, I think
Quest.
we actually missed one of our comedy shows because it was at the same time, but you didn't know that until you got on the ship.
Another 10 out of 10 for me. It's just another experience that they just keep, recycling that Quest thing, but like for a good reason. It's very popular and it's a must see.
Yeah, they had a few different ones that they didn't normally have. Because people actually bring those items in their purse.
Yep.
They weren't able to really do that this time. They had some new ones.
The other was the Love and Marriage game. I personally I like to see Love and Marriage because it's always the old people banter, which is the funniest. It never usually disappoints. I would say that this time, one of the cons for me...
I'm sorry.
Bless you?
Thank you.
One of the cons for me... All right. One of the cons for me is that the Love and Marriage game was being hosted at the Aqua Theater. Now, the Aqua Theater is just like the Aqua Theater you would see on the Oasis class. It almost seems like a little smaller as far as seating for some reason. But we have all these, we have all these people on this ship that are flocking to the Aqua Theater. You just couldn't find a seat. So that's one of the downsides of seeing the Love and Marriage game, is that you had to stand basically the whole time if you didn't show up on time. So show up early if the Love and Marriage is being hosted at the Aqua Theater.
Yeah, because there was no seating. We sat on the steps.
Yeah. So, but again, I would just say because of the inconvenience, I would give that an 8 out of 10. It was great. It was fine. It was fine. So I'd say 8 out of 10. Now, speaking of the Aqua Theater, the Aqua Show Torque.
There was also one that was Pirates and Mermaids, but they only had one showing of that, and we had something
Right.
planned already. But the main show at night was Torque.
Yep, Torque was visually stunning. They had a really cool waterfall that cascaded down from the very top of the dome to the water. So kind of a cool light show. Really neat. They also had a cage where they would have motorcyclists go around the cage. So it's just trying new things to see if it sticks. And to me, I thought that was pretty cool. That those effects were really neat. They had kind of an IMAX type of visual around the dome where you had the videos playing. However, what are some of the cons?
With Torque, there wasn't as many dives, and when I go to these aqua shows, I really enjoy those high dives that we normally see on Royal Caribbean, and there was only one high dive that really was the norm high, and it came out of nowhere. You didn't see them do it, and by the time you saw it, he was already in the water. So I wish, because he was in like a hole, so you didn't kind of see him walking there, you had no idea someone was about to jump out and dive from there. So I was disappointed with the dives.
Yeah, the diving was a problem. Some of the water show was something we couldn't really see. It was in an area.
Acrobats,
yeah, the acrobats in the water. We didn't have a lot of good visibility. Again, the seating was just weird. For some reason, I don't know how they're going to be able to fix that, but that was one of the cons. So to me, I hate to say it, because we do typically like the Aqua Show from the previous ships, but I would say a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree. 7 out of 10.
Yeah. And then finally, we have the
Casino.
The casino was pretty impressive. It pretty much spans the length of the middle of the ship, and it is segmented from smoking and non-smoking, but as opposed to other ships where you're non-smoking and smoking, it was never really apparent whether or not you were actually in smoking or non-smoking.
No.
They did some kind of wizardry on how they were able to separate those two
They
things.
had some great air purifiers, either in the ceiling system, and they also had the random ones, but once you crossed the line, you really could not tell that you were just in the smoking one.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. And I believe the bar itself was in the non-smoking section. So it was nice to have that, you're not sitting there waiting for your drink and inhaling all that nasty smoke.
Yeah.
So to me, the casino, the con's always going to be the smoke. Sorry, not just the smoke. The con's also spending the money and losing the money. So, overall though, I would say the way they designed the casino and as big as it was, I give it a 9 out of 10. The casino, they did a great job with the casino, and that's coming from somebody who hates smoke. So if you're a smoker, great, you have your section. If you're a non-smoker, you have your section, and it's fine.
I was actually able to gamble, and you were right there with me.
That's a problem. Yeah, and that's a con. So we're now at a 5 out of 10. No, it's a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah. And then finally, they had the music hall. Our roost director also he's a DJ, I guess, in his past life. And so he would actually go in there every so often and do some DJ work in the music hall. So it was really nice to go in there. Now I will say, and maybe it's just me getting older, but it was loud. There was nowhere in that music hall when music was playing was it nice. It just felt like it was just piercing in there. So we didn't spend a lot of time in there.
No, and actually I don't think many people, every time we went there, it was kind of dead.
Yeah, it was dead.
So it wasn't where, I guess people chose other bars to hang out. Probably the dueling pianos.
That's right. Yep.
So.
Yeah, and one more thing, and I think this is entertainment, I would say, but Playmakers was really neat. Playmakers we would see it as more of the food thing, but the way we used it was just to watch sports. We happened to catch our game before we set sail, but the openness of Playmakers was really nice. It was a nice size Playmakers.
Yeah, there was plenty of TVs, plenty of different games on.
Yep, games. They had actually, speaking of games, they also had the skee ball games, stuff like that. Pool tables. So they had a lot going on for those who wanted to go and chill and watch the game, especially during that season where it is football season or football season. So yeah, so to me, I thought Playmakers was nice too. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10.
Next, let's get into the dining. We had plenty of options on Star of the Seas. We only went on to Windjammer once because we had so many options. There was Base Camp, Local Fresh, the soft serve ice cream, Playmakers, the main dining room, Hooked Seafood, the Aquadome Market that had 4 different restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, starting with Base Camp. Base Camp is one of those kind of places you go for finger foods, or if you want to grab a smash burger, or if you want to grab, in our case, we had those little pretzel bites, which was actually really just, it was nice to have like when you were just like at in between meals.
It was not one of those extra costs.
Right, at no extra cost. So it was nice to just go in there and have a little snack. Base Camp was great. Local Fresh was it's something that you would see on other ships as well, but it's like a create your own like burrito, or it's a Mexican buffet. And I've mentioned this previously. It's the soft serve ice cream is always outstanding. And
how many do you have a day, do you think?
Are you a day or per minute?
A day.
A day.
How many do you have a day usually on a ship?
I don't know, 7, 8 a day.
That's a lie.
Okay, maybe 10. It's a lot. I enjoy it. It's a nice little treat. You don't get that at home. So
after going to the gym, you swing by.
Yeah. You work out to have soft serve. That's the end of story. Boom. That's it. The other areas we visited, actually, one of the first places we went to was the Aquadome Market. Now, the Aquadome Market has a host of restaurants within it. Can you think of it as one of those, like, what do they call those? Like
a food court.
Yeah, a food court. Yeah,
it's kind of like a food court.
It's like a food court that you have your options of, feta, like a Mediterranean, you have barbecue, you have Asian. But the first place we stopped at was something that I was looking forward to before the trip. Do an extra like 2 a days in a workout to kind of make up for it. But it was the crepe at the Creme de la Crepe. We were hoping to get kind of like a French style crepe that had nice crispy edges, and the Nutella be inside, and the chocolate. That's what I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
However, that may not have been the case.
No, the crepe was actually very rubbery. The inside, the Nutella was delicious. Can't go wrong with that. And the fruit, but the crepe itself, they cooked them all in the back, and then they had a pile, so you weren't really getting it fresh. They did put it on the thing to warm it up, but it's not the same as a fresh crepe.
And we did try a round 2. All right, so we're gonna give this a second pass because the first time we did this, it wasn't good. And we think that they're not cooking it fresh, which might be why. So I don't know. Yeah, see, it's very looks mushy. Nutella's good though.
Huh? Nutella?
Nutella's good, yeah. It just tastes like a bunch of sugar. It doesn't have like a crispy taste to it. But nonetheless, not bad. But still not the greatest. I wouldn't recommend having this twice. Like we did.
You did. I did not, but you did.
Yeah, which let's just say it wasn't
It still
wasn't favorable.
No.
However, the other restaurants,
yes.
the feta Mediterranean was delicious. We got the gyros, and it was fantastic. So we got chicken, pita, let's see, feta Mediterranean. So you got, what'd you get? What is that? Cucumbers, tomatoes, feta, tzatziki,
and toom garlic sauce.
Ooh, yeah, that looks good.
It's you.
Bless you. You also got
I did the barbecue pulled pork sandwich.
Yep.
That was delicious. It was a nice little, again, most ships, when you get a barbecue like that, you have to pay for it, and you did not have to pay for it.
Nope.
Here.
Yeah, I was impressed with the exception of Creme de la Crepe. I was impressed with the Aquadome Market.
I really liked the Cubans.
Yep. So lemongrass chicken with spring roll and what is this? This is Cuban
chicken empanada.
chicken empanada.
Some
It's like with that banana chips or something, or burgers. I don't know. The Cuban gets a thumbs up, and the lemongrass chicken is good. Yeah, it was very. I would say again, aside from the crepe, I would give the markets a 9 out of 10 in my opinion.
Yes, all the other ones were amazing, and we had it for lunch a couple days.
That's right.
Yeah.
And before we go to our specialty dining, I want to talk about our main dining. And our main dining, I mean, our waiters were great. We did the My Time dining, which was, for those that don't know, it's you can select your own time slots every day. Sometimes we do this to arrange in accordance to certain shows you want to attend, or maybe you're
or even ports.
I was going to say that. Or maybe ports that they come in late or they end late, and so you maybe want to have a later dinner because of that. Formal nights, maybe you want to have a later formal night dinner. So
I need time to get ready.
Right. Yes. Right. I need time to get
and we
ready.
need pictures.
I need to put on my makeup and do my hair and stuff. So I need about 4 hours to get ready. So we did My Time dining, but we happened to be lucky enough to score the same location, which means we had the same wait staff. They were tremendous. We rarely ever have problems with our wait staff at Royal Caribbean, but this in particular, they were just really good. They treated us well. Your typical Royal Caribbean service, but the food was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I had any meals that I was disappointed with this trip. I have in the past, but this trip I think they all had.
Yep.
The food was great.
Yeah, no, we were always afraid that Royal Caribbean was kind of like sliding downhill with some of their food options and their choice, and the taste was just not. It just didn't seem like they were living up to their normal standard. So this could be a new ship kind of thing where they have the best of the best, but our experience showed that the food was excellent. Now moving on to our main, our specialty dinner, Hooked, and we're going to send you over to a video montage of all the stuff we tried, but I will say that our experience there was well worth the money that we didn't pay. So we had the free dinner.
We had dining vouchers.
We had the vouchers. Yeah.
We usually use it on Chops because we really do like to go to Chops, but we wanted to mix it up and we wanted to try something new.
Took a plunge and tried almost everything on the menu, and almost everything was good. This is the leaking white wine. That one.
That's Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. And then this one.
The Brie.
What is it?
The Brie.
Oh, the Brie. Yes. And champagne. It's always just Rockefeller, right? Interesting. Yeah. Not my favorite, but. And this one is the what? This is the
Brie and champagne.
Brie and champagne. Got it. How is it?
Mostly tastes the Brie.
So a lot of cheese. Got it. This is the Brie. So what you just had.
Yes.
I agree. Brie. It tastes better than the Rockefeller. Not good. Alright, now you're going to try the Rockefeller. See what you think of it. You gotta get that.
I lost it.
What do you think of it? 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 1 out of 10.
7.
7. What did you say? How would you rate that compared to the other 3? Or other 2, sorry.
Great. Just a little busy, but not bad actually.
Probably third place.
Third, yeah, that's where I put it.
Why?
Okay. All right. So what is this again? This is the
Leek and white wine.
white wine. You said it tastes like potato.
It tastes like my potato soup.
Tylenol as well.
All right, so that's what it looks like. Consistency.
Yeah.
All right.
You better now?
Yeah, because you're here.
Oh.
You and Meg and Ken and it made me feel better. And I had a little sleep.
Get a shell. It's good, actually.
Yes.
I do taste a lot of potato. Thank you.
Let's do one.
I would say this is second. Actually, the first is the brie. Actually, the first I like the brie, and then Rockefeller is like fourth out of 3. So that's halibut. I still say the salmon is better than this, but I mean maybe with a little lemon. Still kind of plain. I don't know. I might need some seasoning, maybe.
Steak melts in your mouth.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Medium cut.
Medium cut.
Highly recommend Hooked. The experience, the wait staff was tremendous. We couldn't get enough of the types of options that they were available to us to have on that specialty dining at Hooked.
Yeah, we had almost every single appetizer. It was great that they were able to let us do that.
Yep. So overall, I would give that experience, the Hooked experience, a 10 out of 10. The ambiance, the experience, the food overall was something that I find that it's unique. It's not something that you're going to have at your normal main dining. So
I would probably do a 9 because I was kind of disappointed with their lobster mac and cheese. I thought it would be more homemade. You're going to have lobster pieces in it, and the mac and cheese was going to be great. And I was actually disappointed with mac and cheese because it tasted like Velveeta. It's not my favorite.
But the Rockefeller was so good. Overall, our dining experience was top notch. So
Yes.
Great job, Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
And that wraps up our full review of the Star of the Seas. After sailing the ship, exploring all 20 decks, and hitting every neighborhood, we feel like we really got the full experience.
It's not a perfect ship. No ship is, but overall, the entertainment, the food, the neighborhoods, and energy on board made this one of the best cruises we've ever taken.
Now, if you're planning to sail the Star of the Seas, we hope our pros and cons helped give you a clear picture of what to expect. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment about which part of the ship you want to try the most.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you on the next. Let's do it together. Let's do it again. Ready?
What are we doing it again?
You say thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you on the next adventure.
Hot diggity dog.